Hello, folks, and welcome to a little broadcast coming attractions special as we look at what's coming our way the rest of this year and into next year in the world of Star Trek. I'm Peter.
I'm Anne-Marie.
Now, I guess we better engage the emergency podcast hologram.
Please state the nature of a... Who are you? What's with the purple? Are you cheating on me, Peter? Is this what you're doing when I'm not here?
It's a threesome. Yes, that's what you needed.
Who misses?
So we're looking at, because obviously we had the Star Trek Day last week at time of recording. Or was it this week? I lose track of time already.
I don't know. It was recently.
Recently, yes. So as per usual, we're doing our slightly belated rundown of all the things that was announced. Starting with something that we're in the midst of anyway, which is there was a trailer for the second half of season 2 of Lower Decks.
Oh, I thought you meant the apocalypse.
That comes later.
Quite probably the way things are going. Anyway.
Attention all hands. Report to your commanding officers.
We have to work together.
Look alive, people.
Our lives will be on the line. But we are Starfleet and we never back down from a challenge. Oh, and the ballroom dancing competition will have to be postponed.
So, yes, I must admit, I didn't bother watching this trailer because I kind of felt like I'm going to be seeing it all in the next few weeks anyway. So I didn't need to have my pantals lised or whatever the phrase is.
Well, I did watch it.
Uh-huh.
And just to see sort of if there was anything in particular that I sort of leapt out at me. And one of the things that I did like, there's just a very brief scene with Boimler and a phaser rifle. Mariner goes, you know, what's the difference between a phaser and a phaser rifle? And Boimler goes, you need 2 hands. And I just... yeah, that tickled me. I like that. Other than that, it all looked shiny and pretty, but I couldn't really take much in because it's not where it's telling you loads of bits of different stories. It's quite disjointed as a trailer.
Well, it's supposed to be just teasing you, so
yeah,
not giving you whole plots or anything.
There's no context for anything, but that's fine. I still really enjoyed it. I don't think there was anything we saw here that we hadn't already seen in the previous trailer, just other bits from those sequences, effectively.
Yeah. So it still looked fun. It's shiny. Yep. I like it, but
I'm loving Lower Decks. It is amazing. It is
in a way. I didn't need it because I'm already excited about Lower Decks. So yeah,
because the last 2 episodes were brilliant.
Yeah, no, I've really, really been enjoying Lower Decks, and so yes, I'm more Lower Decks, please. I am all in for it.
Yes, definitely.
Yep.
We've got another animated series coming on the 28th of October, at least in the States, if not here. But I think it's coming quite soon after that, if not on the 28th. And it's the unpronounceable Prodigy.
I can't say that word. How do you say it? Do you know, Andy?
Prodigy. But if it makes it easier, why don't you just say Star Trek Firestarter?
I'm a fire starter. Twisted fire starter.
Yes. I think that's probably the easiest way out on that one.
No purpose here.
How did a ship get inside here?
The more important question, how do we get it out?
Join us. You always wanted to see the stars.
On behalf of Starfleet, welcome aboard.
What is that?
Okay, so Star Trek Firestarter, which I watched the trailer of. I'm liking this. It looks fun. Watched it with Quinn, who went, "Oh, I want to see that." So excellent.
Well, disappointment then, because we'd have to get Sky to see it.
Oh, well. But I noticed they've got a character in it that reminded me of, was it Yaffet in the Orville? Glob?
Oh, yeah.
Well, does a droid? Oh, yeah, I know what you mean.
Yes.
But I think in this one, it may look like a gelatinous life form, but it seems to be more of a pet type creature or funny sidekick.
Yeah, rather than
cynical,
member.
Gelatinous, horny glob.
But there's a scene in it where sort of one of them goes, "You want the buttons to go pew, 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 pew." And it's like, I don't know which button it is. It's like, press all the buttons until one of them goes pew, 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 pew. I like it. They just happen to have discovered this ship. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. I like the idea. It looks fun to me.
Andy, what did you think?
I think it looks fine. It looks entertaining. It is 100% not made for me, and that's absolutely fine. And obviously, one of the selling points for a lot of people is it features the return of one Captain Catherine Janeway. And we holograms, we have thoughts about Janeway. So
particularly
we'll leave
holographic
it,
Janeway.
particularly holographic Janeway. So we'll leave it there. But I'm absolutely willing to give it a go. See if it tickles my fancy. If it does, that's great. I will watch it with great joy. If it doesn't, that's fine as well. I just won't watch it.
Yeah.
It felt very Ratchet and Clank to me. It was that style of animation.
Yeah.
So.
But it's fine. I'll just give it a try. I'm not.
I love the ship. The ship looks great. Especially with its super secret third nacelle.
The ship looks good. The characters. I like the animation style. I'll give it a try. I'm not expecting it to be like other Trek, if you see what I mean.
Yeah. It's not going to be Lower Decks.
No.
No.
So I'll give it a try, and it might be fun. And if it isn't, I just won't watch it like you. It's fine.
We won't be covering it on broadcast because it's going to be showing at the same time, or for part of it anyway, as Discovery Season 4. And I really can't cope with the idea of covering 3 shows simultaneously. So yes, we'll just stick to Discovery Season 4, which is beginning on the 18th of November. Although,
in retrospect, that monkey paw really has done a number on you, hasn't it?
Oh,
You sat there and you go, I wish there was more Star Trek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
So, no teaser trailer for this one.
No.
Although, if you were lucky enough to live in the United States and afford a ticket to be at the Star Trek event, you would have seen a teaser trailer, apparently. But yeah, there we are. Apparently, Star Trek's all about what you can afford these days, which is a bit annoying, but there we are. We have been given an image of Burnham in her shiny red uniform. You can have a look at that,
which I like.
I'm finding it's weird seeing the Discovery crew wearing the Next Generation colors.
Yeah,
because I still associate the Discovery crew with the original series, where red is engineering and security.
But now they're in the far future where they're still carrying on the colours from Next Generation. So it is a bit of a head scratcher, isn't it? I mean, it looks a bit Monster Maroon, actually.
It does look very dark as reds go. It's not the bright red.
No.
But I like it. It's cool.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. I think it's a better look than the greys that they had.
Yeah, the grey was a bit...
Yeah, I prefer it.
Any hopes for season 4? What would you like to see? What don't you want to see? Any thoughts there?
I don't want to see Burnham crying every 30 seconds.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't have a problem with her crying as long as she's not just... They've kind of treated her a bit like Miles O'Brien. Do you know what I mean? It's like, what trauma can we put her through this week? Kind of, that's like in the last season. Do you know what I mean? And over the past 3. So I'd quite like it to have a bit of a let up and maybe for her character to have some fun, as well as, there can be some trauma there or whatever, fine, but just not all the bloody time. And I really want the universe to be bigger and not everything revolve around her mum or whatever. Do you know what I mean? I want, if they're going out and bringing the Federation to people and bringing them in and whatever, fine to have a callback to somebody that's come up in the previous season. But in the main, I just want it to be more expansive and introduce us to new things.
And I'm simple. I just want more Grudge the Cat, basically.
Oh, okay. And spaceships.
And spaceships, obviously, yes. Yeah. Preferably without bizarre floating nacelles, but apparently that's a thing now. So.
I was going to say, you can't have both. You can have one or the other.
Yeah. How about you, Andy?
I would really like to spend a bit of time actually getting to know what the Alpha Quadrant looks like in 32, whatever the hell we are.
Yeah.
Like it's 750 years since Picard era, I think, maybe a bit more than that. But what's happened? Because, just look at our society now, 750 years ago, it would be unrecognizable. What does that look like on a galactic scale, especially when you have institutions like the Federation which have survived? How have they changed? I would like to spend a bit more time on Earth or Vulcan or Andor just to get a sense of what this galaxy looks like now.
Yeah,
definitely.
And spaceships.
And more spaceships, yeah.
And more spaceships, yes.
We'll be getting another trailer in October once they've shown it at New York Comic Con. Then it'll be all over the internet, no doubt.
This airs November 18th in the US and the 19th here, I believe.
Yeah,
yes, I think that's right. Yeah.
So, but yes, a trailer next month, and then the actual series come November. Then, as looking further forward into the future, next year, February, we have Picard Season 2, which we've got a full trailer for.
Yeah.
To heal our future, we have to repair the past.
I first saw you as a man who chose the stars. But after all this time, I've come to wonder, have you been seeking or running?
Do you recall what I said, Jean-Luc, when last we parted ways? The trial never ends.
Q, I am way too old for your bullshit.
What did we think of this?
I tend not to be a fan of alternate universes.
Yeah, you got a problem here then.
But this is Q. And for me, that makes it a little bit different, because with Q, it tends to be a temporary alternate universe that probably only exists in order to teach you a lesson kind of scenario. Thinking of what was the episode? Tapestry? Is that the episode? So if that's the sort of route it goes down, where, it's done to teach you something and then it all goes back to normal, then it's going to depend on what it's teaching, because I'm going to go in to this assuming everything ends up fine at the end in a way that I wouldn't otherwise necessarily, just because it's an alternate universe and Q. Do you know what I mean? So I'm going to assume it all works out fine in the end. The question is, what do they learn as a result? How does it change them?
Well, we know that as part of it set in roughly our time, judging by the cars, which is a good cheap move for them, I suppose. And somebody spotted a reference to Deep Space Nine's past tense.
Yes,
that was me.
District.
Yeah,
it was you.
I didn't. I wasn't the first one to spot it, but I posted it and shared it. So.
Okay, cool.
There's also more uniform news. There's a painting up on Picard's wall of him not wearing the monster maroon, but a dark-coloured monster maroon, so black.
It's for evil maroon.
Evil maroon. Yes, it's amazing. He hasn't got a.
But it's not maroon at all. It's just black.
Yeah, it's monster black.
Monster black. Which... not quite the monster mash, but not far off. Yeah, that looks interesting. My biggest worry is worrying about whether they can sustain if Q for an entire season. I mean, sometimes he overstays his welcome in one episode, so this could be. I mean, perhaps he'll just pop up in certain stories throughout the season rather than being continually around, because that could get a bit irksome, I suspect.
Or it could be a bookend that he's in the first and last episode.
Quite possibly.
Which would be fine. As I said, it depends what it is they're learning as a result of this alternate universe and how the characters develop and stuff. That's what's going to... Because if it's good character stuff, I'm not going to mind. But if there's not really good character stuff, I'm just going to be pissed off.
It also looks like we're getting more Borg, which I thought they handled the Borg quite well in the first season. It's tricky. Trek's got the Borg wrong a lot in the past. Yeah. But we've got the Borg Queen returning this time.
Because apart from the first time that was used, that's always worked out really well for us.
Exactly, yeah. So it's a slight worry. This time played by Annie Wershing, who was in a season 1 episode of Enterprise. And we've also had it confirmed there's going to be a season 3 of Picard as well. So they're obviously feeling very positive about this. What do you think, Andy?
What do I think of Picard? I really want to give this the benefit of the doubt and to say that, the trailer is full of misdirects and it's just showing us stuff to throw us off. And, after the first episode, it's going to go in a different direction. And what we're seeing here isn't the entire series. But I just don't have confidence in the showrunners to do that. I'm kind of worried they've already shown us the entire plot in the trailer. In Q does thing, sends them to, thing results in alternate dimension. They have to go back in time to fix thing, learn lesson, come back to now sprinkle in a few Easter eggs. I think the problem with Picard as a concept, as a series, is Picard works best as both a character and as a show when it is leaning into that nostalgia vibe of letting us see how these characters have progressed over the past 30 odd years. The best episode of season 1 was Nepenthe, because it was seeing him interacting with Will Riker and Deanna Troi. This cast is fantastic. They're great. I enjoy them interacting together. But you could take Picard out of this and put anyone else in there, and it wouldn't affect it one jot. And it just feels like this entire show has been a massive missed opportunity.
Not sure. I mean, obviously, Picard has always had that. Of all the captains that Q's dealt with, Picard's been the most interesting dynamic. So
I'm here for Delancey. All day long. It's like, yeah, please, all of that. I'm giving it the benefit of a doubt. I really want to enjoy this, but at the same time, there is a nagging feeling in the back of my head saying, it's gonna be set up perfectly, and they're just gonna miss the target.
Well, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
But, that's coming up early next year, and then later in 2022, which I'm rather more excited about. We have Strange New Worlds.
Oh, I'm looking forward to this one.
Oh yes.
So we've got a bunch of pictures and characters that we've been introduced to. We've got new uniforms. Hey. It's going to really make cosplayers scratch their heads because they've now got, whereas Discovery had tiny
chevrons
down the side.
Oh, the deltas, yeah, it had the deltas. Now it has the division insignias, yeah,
loads of them.
Yeah, but it's only screen printed, whereas the deltas were raised textures, so it's actually easier to reproduce for fabric.
I guess so. You get like a mask, wouldn't you, and spray over it? Yeah.
So that's easier. Can we just talk about the one thing about here that they just quietly dropped into this and no one is talking about? Lan Noonien Singh.
Yes.
Oh, I mean, excuse me?
That could be a terrible coincidence. Or
yeah, that's that. I mean, I'm here for Uhura. I'm here for Mbenga. The return of Anson Mount, who was just an absolute revelation. I adore him. Una, I'm looking forward to that. Ethan Peck. I'm super excited for this show and what they've told us this is going to be, in the sense of it's a return to more episodic television, that sense of adventure, going back to kind of that core of what was at the original series. But yeah, Lan Noonien Singh. No. You don't get to just drop that in there and we don't reference that.
I think they're probably going somewhere with us, I suspect.
Yeah.
We got several new characters, actually. We've got Hema, who's I can't remember how you pronounce this now. It's been so long since I've seen it.
The Ania?
Ania, something like that, yeah.
Yes.
The white-skinned blind Andorians. It's played by Bruce Horak, who's a blind actor, so that's good casting.
They've cast a blind actor as a blind character, which is great. They did back in Next Gen. I want to say his name was Reaver.
The deaf guy.
Yeah, deaf, and again playing a deaf character. But also, I found however you pronounce them, interesting in Enterprise, that there was a subspecies, as it were, of Andorians living in the
it's cold, isn't it?
In the ice. Yeah.
We've also got Lieutenant Erica Ortegas, who's the security officer, apparently. Then we've got a few characters from the original series cropping up. You mentioned Dr. Mbenga, who was in season 2 and season 3 as a doctor on the Enterprise, and he's got an interesting uniform as well, very reminiscent of McCoy's alternate universe, sort of like a smock.
Yeah, smock thing.
Yeah, that's good. We've got Christine Chappell, not played by Rebecca Rumagin, which would have been amusing, but instead played by Jess Bush, who turns out is an Australian actor who's been in a couple of episodes of Home and Away. Hi, Daria. Well, she's got terrible hair in this, though. I don't quite know what's happened with a Chapel wig, but there we are. And as you mentioned, Cadet Uhura, who's played by award-winning stage actor Celia Rose Gooding, who looks really good for a younger Nichelle Nichols. That's good casting.
And I'm liking the casting and how they've done stuff and how we're seeing people in. So, like, Uhura is a cadet because this is set before. Do you know what I mean? She hasn't made it up the ranks, whatever, yet. I like that. I'm interested to see what the Aeneir, or however you pronounce it, is doing in Starfleet and how it's all working and stuff. What's the time difference between Strange New Worlds and Enterprise? I'm not sure.
Well, it's about 100 years or so, I think, because Enterprise, and I'm talking season 4, not that abomination, but was the final episode of Enterprise.
Oh yeah, let's not think that.
I was surprised we didn't get a Dr. Boyce, because there was a lot of fan people calling for Jeffrey Combs to take on that role, which, you know, I was there for that. I just any Jeffrey Combs is great, and I really like the fact we are getting references to Enterprise in there with the Aeneas. So the last season of Enterprise is set in 2155.
Yeah.
And The Cage is set in, he says, scrolling up to the top of the page. I mean, the pad, yeah, because I'm a computer, aren't I? Yeah. 2254. So, yeah, almost 100 years.
Okay.
So it's not outside the realm of possibility. You know, T'Pol would absolutely still be around at this time.
Oh.
Yes, and she actually featured in this Star Trek Day thing, the actor.
We might even see a Admiral Archer, who in the Mirror Universe episode of Enterprise, his bio states that he did go to the commissioning of the Enterprise and died the next day, but it's so small, who cares? You know, they'll just gloss over that. But yeah, I'm here for that. New uniforms, the Enterprise.
A smaller bridge design this time. It's not quite as huge as it was in Discovery.
They've taken the corridor out from around the exterior,
which I think is sensible, because it did look stupidly huge before.
It was just a redress of the Shenzhou Bridge, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, they had to work with what they had at the time, I think.
Yeah.
But I'm particularly looking forward to a return to episodic television and episodic Star Trek, because we have been missing that. And it fits, I think, with the characters and everything, what we're kind of expecting, if you see what I mean. And it's going to be a nice contrast to Discovery with its big arc, because they always have one. I'm looking forward to stuff where they just go off and do things and Spock ends up laughing at a tree or whatever.
Spock's got a new look. He's got pointier ears than he did before.
I'm looking forward to, we might see return of, you know, Harry Mudd, Lavelle, getting a chance to just see the world of Discovery transition into the world of the original series, because, you know, they're very clearly walking us more in that direction. And we might see, you know, other TOS girls. I'm not saying I want a character for a week. I don't want Kirk to show up, but Sulu was on the Enterprise quite early on. So we might see Sulu show up later on, which I think would be interesting.
Yeah.
Just to get a little sense of these characters and their journeys beginning.
What we haven't had announced is a chief engineer. It's a bit mysterious. Although Lan Nunez Singh is in red, but I'm not sure that she's technically a member of the crew or not.
Does she task you? Does she task you, Peter?
She does, yes. She's played by Christina Chong, by the way, who was in a Matt Smith Doctor Who story, A Good Man Goes to War.
Oh.
So she's got previous. As has Babs Olusanmokun, who is playing Dr. Mbenga. He's in the new June film.
Oh.
He was in Black Mirror, The Defenders, not that we watched that, but the Marvel TV series that had Daredevil and whatnot in it. And he was the Scarecrow in Gotham as well. So yeah, no, exciting stuff. And I'm most excited about Strange New Worlds.
Yeah.
That's got real potential. And something that isn't necessarily got an arc going all the way through it, so every story's got to sort of squeeze into the arc would be really good, I think.
Yeah, and also I just really love Anson Mount.
Well, yes,
more Anson Mount on my screen, please.
Yes, quite a number of people would like to mount Anson.
Yeah.
Yeah, so with that mental image.
Well, I mean, before you do sign off, I mean, let's just talk a little bit about what we didn't hear about. We didn't hear anything about the Section 31 show.
No,
that's true.
We didn't hear anything about the upcoming film, and they've confirmed there is a film coming out, I believe, in 2023. So we didn't have anything to say about that either.
Yeah, so we've still got absolutely no idea where that's going to be set, when it's going to be set.
Yeah, I mean, if the film is not until 2023, it could be that one. It's just too early days for them to have anything really to show.
They'd have to start filming soon, though, because
yes. I mean, they must at least have a script in development.
Yeah, but in terms of images, do you know what I mean? They might not have much in the way of images or anything. So that one I can understand. But I'm wondering, are we actually going to get this Section 31 show? Because they really should have had something by now to make announcements with, given that they originally said it was going to happen before they said Strange New Worlds was going to happen. So I'm wondering if they've quietly dropped it and we're getting Strange New Worlds instead.
Yeah.
shall see. We shall see.
I mean, we might well see Michelle Yeoh show up in Strange New Worlds. I mean, for all we know, she might just float between. She might float between all the shows. She may show up in Picard season 2. Maybe she's the reason it all went totalitarian. Did I blow your mind?
Yeah, that would be an interesting surprise. We shall have to see.
Yeah.
So yes, exciting times if you're a fan of Star Trek. Expensive times as well, because we've got to stream 2 different streaming services plus Sky if you're going to cover all this. But there we are. But there's no shortage of Trek to look forward to, which is good news.
Just keep us podcasting well into our dotage.
Indeed, yes.
There is no escape.
Because there's plenty of other stuff to be covering.
Yeah. Well, we might not even finish the original series at this
rate. Yes. And the plan at the moment, by the looks of it, just because of when our move is as well, is that we'll have just about finished Lower Decks before we move. So this broadcast will then be taking a bit of a break until we start our Discovery coverage. And we'll do similar as we normally do, sort of give it a few days after it's been broadcast and then give our thoughts. So we'll be about sort of a week behind broadcast order, I suspect.
Yeah.
But obviously we'll update you on our social media things so you're aware of what's coming when. Thank you, Andy, for joining us.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. I mean, it's not like I have a huge amount of say in it, is it? Bloody switching me on like a bloody lamp. I mean, what the hell is this, man?
No, you love being turned on by us.
I really do, actually, yeah. You do it in such a special way, Peter. The way you say, computer activate the emergency podcast hologram. Oh, yes. Shivers down my spine.
Whenever I push that knob, you get very excited. But anyway.
Oh, yes.
Time to turn you off now. Bye-bye, Andy.
Bye-bye, Andy.
I should go.
You've got no choice. And we'll catch you. The next thing we're covering after this will be a couple of episodes of Lower Decks.
Yes.
Coming very soon. Next week, in fact.
Yes.
Until then, cheery bye.
Bye.
Catch Andy on episodes of The Great Derelict, available from greatderelict.libsyn.com. It covers all things sci-fi. All music referenced is for illustrative purposes only, and no copyright infringement is intended.
Find our website at broadcast.libsyn.com.
We have a Facebook group which you're welcome to join.
You can find the broadcast playouts on Spotify for your listening pleasure.
Visit our Tumblr site at broadcast.tumblr.com, where you'll find images accompanying the episodes discussed in this cast.
Send emails or MP3s to broadcast@gmail.com.
Or you can contact us via Twitter on rev_org or broadcastammo. #broadcast.
On the bits you hated, filthy infatuated. Yeah. On the plate you tasted, fell intoxicated. I'm a fire starter, twisted fire starter. You're the fire starter, twisted fire starter.
Shut it down!